My name is Alan Q, and I am a kids magician, balloon twister, and I am a face painter.
What has been some of the biggest struggles of doing magic shows?
But I also want a person that can dress up as a Spider-Man.
Well, at least you got a costume every Halloween, huh?
Yeah.
Probably want to convert over to YouTube and watch what Alan's about to do for us, okay? Hey,
Was it space?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Still can't
It's
believe
not
that
a
Ace of
raccoon,
Spades
eh?
right now. I'm like, well.
Is it more or less that you're trying to distract the person from viewing somewhere else? Or is it really that it comes down to like the certain props that you need in order to make that trick? If you have any more tricks up your sleeve, we would love to see what you have.
I swear to God, if he gets this.
Maybe like this one. And I want you to memorize that car.
Yeah.
Is that your car?
Yeah. Which podcast is having this much fun? You know, like, come on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new podcast. My name is JJ Vola. Alongside here is my co-host Cal Vola. Welcome to What Do You Do podcast. And today we are joined by Alan. Alan, thank you so much for joining our podcast. Give everyone a little brief description of who you are and what you do.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. My name is Alan Q, and I am a kids magician, balloon twister, and I am a face painter.
That's awesome. We definitely look forward to diving in everything that you do. But let's go back to some of your younger years. What were some of your first jobs? I understand, obviously, you came from a different country, so let's talk about that kind of stuff as well too, and your career life that's led you to where you are today.
Sure, it's a kind of a long story. I was born in the Dominican Republic. I studied there something totally different. I studied engineering, civil engineering there. I worked there for many years. I immigrated to Canada in 2011. So until that point, I liked magic. I always liked magic as a teenager, but I never thought about that as a business. So once I came here to Canada, I thought about that, and then I'm doing that right now.
Great. And when did you come into Canada?
2011. So I have more than 12 years right now. Yes.
12 years experience. Now, when you got into magic, what was it? Did you have somebody you looked up to at that time?
Yeah, as a teenager, I always it will sound like a little bit weird, but I always liked like paranormal stuff. How a lot of like how people think, how people react to different things. So I was very curious about that. So I always liked to do kind of magic, like levitation, a little bit of mind reading. It was a little bit difficult at that point, in the 80s, no internet, so the way to actually know tricks was pretty much sharing with people. Like I give you one trick, you give me one trick. That was the way that tricks were learned at that point. So I was really curious, so that's why I was like amazed by magic. Actually, it was like an uncle, he did a magic trick. I really loved it, and after that, I've been following magic since then.
That's great.
What was that first like magic tricks that you ever saw?
Yeah, it was like this very simple magic tricks that you do with cards that requires a little bit of math and counting. That those are basically the first magic tricks that all kids learn. Again, like just require counting. 21 cards and all that. Like all kids do that. So that's how I started. And then after that, one day, but that was when I was like a teenager. I went to New York and I found like a magic shop, and then I bought a couple of tricks there, and then I started doing a little bit of mind reading, and I started doing a little bit of levitation. I learned, and then but again, like it was on and off. It was never like a continuous thing. It was just like a hobby at that point.
Wow. Now, what were some of your first like tricks that you got into, like when you came into Canada? Let's say, what were some of the first things? Because at that point, obviously, you had a love for it when you were younger in your teens, and then coming into Canada, what were some of the first magic tricks that you would do getting into Canada?
Yeah, when I came to Canada, it was basically to further my career as an engineer.
Mm.
So at that point, I forgot about magic. I never did magic shows as a business in the Dominican Republic. So when I came to Canada, again, I started working as an engineer. And at one point I said, you know what? I want to do like a side gig or a hobby that, can give me a little bit of money. So I thought about photography. I like photography. And I said, also, I like magic, but like, is people like hiring magicians? Like, I didn't know anything about that. So I started like searching, information. I bought like one of these online classes for photography, very cheap, like $50. I bought a camera, a professional camera. I started like taking pictures. And at the same time, I started looking in Kijiji, like if there are people hiring for magicians. And at that point, I actually realized that by coincidence, there were a person that was creating a birthday party company and they needed a magician.
Hmm.
So I contacted her, and then I have to send my resume. But I said like, well, what resume I will send? Like I only have been doing like engineering stuff. I don't want to send that, right? So as a magician, I haven't done like anything. So I pretty much delete everything, and I just put, I always have been interested in magic. Send it to her. She called me for an interview, and then I got the job.
Oh, cool.
No way.
And just to talk about that quickly, I mean, obviously, with this being, more of a side thing, and you being an engineer, so what kind of engineer do you do roughly? Like, what is it particular that you got involved? What kind of schooling did you do? Did you do the schooling in Canada?
No, everything was done. I came to the Dominican Republic. I mean, I came from the Dominican Republic in my 30s, so I did all the schooling and university in the Dominican Republic. So it was civil engineering.
Okay.
Yep.
And what is civil engineering?
Civil, there are many components, but mostly like, for example, bridges, houses, and like in terms like, for example, they are the one who build the house. But there are too many main components. One is structural design, one is project management. So I took the side of structural design. So pretty much architects, they design architecturally the building, but the engineers are the one who have to say, okay, now you have to use this foundation with this concrete strength, this type of rebars, the columns have to have this size, this rebar. So they put all the elements to support the structure. That's the structure support all the loads.
Okay, got it. That's
And that could apply to or buildings or bridges, or there are engineers that design like streets and highways and all that stuff. Like civil construction is all that.
okay. Okay. And for civil engineering, I mean, you were doing that now since 2011 when you got here, or
Yes, the beginning when I arrived here, of course, I came as a skilled worker, so I had no job at the beginning. My background in the Dominican Republic, as I said, it was more as a structural designer, and I started in a company doing some supervision of quality for a steel fabricator. So that's how I start, and after that, with connections, I jumped to a consulting firm.
okay. And how long do you have to go to school to become a civil engineer if you don't?
Generally, minimum 4 years.
Okay.
And what are you expected to learn in that course roughly?
And
Like, because I know there's so many different types of engineering. Like obviously your course is probably very specific to you, along with other forms of engineering that you can get into. But like yours, for example, like what did you learn? What did you take away from your schooling roughly?
uh, uh, the question is a little bit broad. Can you repeat that more
Yeah, like
specific?
just like what did you learn in your school for like your course? Like was there something particular like about civil engineering
Yeah,
that you learned?
yeah. Again, like I think like I took when I was in high school, I didn't know what to study at all. I think that I mean, seeing now in hindsight, I think it was a good-ish choice. But I was very, I mean, disoriented. I didn't know what to study. I took one of these skill like assessment that they give you in high school, and it taught me like it showed me that I was very good at math, seeing objects in 3D and all that. So they say you are probably good to any engineer and things like that. So I chose civil engineer. So when I was there again, like I didn't know what to expect, but again, like civil engineering have different aspects. One is project management, one is more design. In the you can you can master like in different areas. For example, buildings or high rises. You can go bridges. You can go like streets and highways. And in each one of them, you can do or the structural design or you can do the project management side. So I liked it a little bit more like the technical side of it. So I chose this structural design. But now in my career, I think that for the long term, I am switching slowly more for the project management side. I think it has more growth potential than the technical side. So that's why I'm like kind of like right now switching in that. So, but as what I was doing at the beginning, I pretty much was doing like concrete design, pretty much, and then after when I came to Canada, just by coincidence, I switch to steel design and connection of steel designs and all that
Okay.
things.
If anyone listening, I mean, in general, if they ever want to be, a civil engineer, like
Mhm.
generally, what can someone expect, like income wise, like maybe starting kind of salary once you're like, you've been in the industry, for a year or two, and then maybe like 10 years into it, kind of what you can kind of expect.
Yeah, I mean, uh, that will be only my opinion because this is very widely and depending where in what area you work. Like if you work in oil and mining, generally pays more. If you work in consulting, generally consulting pay less. But if you work with with the developer, they generally pay more. So it will depend a lot. And I can say it varies a lot just depending where you are in those areas. But I'll say that a civil engineer at the beginning, first of all, there is a distinction. Like when you graduate from civil engineering, you have to work like 1 year under the supervision of an engineer, and then you get a certification here that is called professional engineer. It's an association, so that you require to be in the association so you can stamp or sign drawings. So that gives you like a plus. So if you don't have that at the beginning, and especially if you're an immigrant, then you require more stuff, like you require to do more tests and things like that. It can take you 2 3 years sometimes, and sometimes more, because the difficult thing is to work with the supervision of a civil engineer, because there are a lot of jobs that they might require an engineer from like immigrants, but they don't have an engineer themselves because they hire a consultant to do the engineering work. So you can work like 10 years and you never work under the supervision of a civil engineer. That's why some people, it's a little bit difficult for them. So if you don't have the certification, I'll guess it could start very low. Like I will say like 50, 45 to 60 maybe. Once you get more experience, it probably be a 65 to 90. And once you have experience, 90 to 150.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
Wow, so it's definitely something great to work towards,
Yeah.
right? More hours, more education.
Yeah.
Now, was there a benefit to, obviously when you did the schooling in Dominican for that? I apologize, we're talking about all the engineering so much. It's just fascinating. Of course, you do both of these as well. But what was the reason coming into Canada?
Well, I always wanted to live in a like in a developed country. Like we are four siblings. The three others they live in the Dominican Republic. They have no desire to come to Canada. They make
Oh,
fun
wow.
of me. They said, that it's too cold, and they always send me pictures of them, in the playing golf or just drinking in the streets. So they have businesses there. They are doing okay. So again, like they have no desire or they have no motivation to come to Canada. I always was a little bit more like hippie. I wanted, to move. Like I after I graduated, I jumped a little bit even inside the Dominican Republic, like to the capital or to the East Coast, where is Punta Cana. I moved for a year to Jamaica, and then I wanted I mean I always like US to live, but it was more difficult. So Canada offered me the opportunity to come as a skilled worker with a permanent residence. So I said, well, Canada it is.
Oh, wow. Cool. That's great
Unreal.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny. Like, do you find it like it's just interesting to know like this type of information? But like, do you find it easier, harder? Like, it benefits you obviously in the skills that you're getting into. Like, was it a good transition coming into Canada?
uh, a smooth transition professionally, like to insert myself in the job, like as an engineer here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like in general, too. Like, I mean, naturally coming from a very, like you said, hot
Yeah,
country,
yeah.
like, did you find it easy to kind of
Ah,
come in?
okay, okay. Well, I think I am very adaptable. As I said, I have been moving a little bit from different cities and even to Jamaica. And when I came to Canada, and I never came, to like actually I never have been in winters, not even in the US. I travel a couple of times to the US, but never in winters. So it was just like all in. I said, I'll go to Canada. That's it. I don't know how the winters will be, but I think that I am very adaptable. So it really did not affect me that much. So
How was the first winter for you? Like, was it a little bit tough or?
I
Uh,
thought it will be worse. I guess that I prepare myself for the worst. Yeah,
Like Antarctica.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But once you have a good like hoodie and then like a coat,
yeah,
you can. And then once you have a car, it really do not affect you that much.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I talk to Americans sometimes when I'm down in the U.S. and they're like, "Man, they think that we live in an igloo sometimes
Yeah.
and whatnot." And I always just laugh at that. And I'm like, "Guys, we're just like you, like it's just a little bit colder up here and whatnot." So,
And we're
uh,
also on the lower part of Ontario too, which we really don't get that bad as like Perry Sound and up. Like they get,
Yeah.
lots of feet of snow they got to remove out of their driveway. But sorry, you were gonna say.
yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, coming to Canada, you're obviously doing an incredible job with civil engineering, all that kind of stuff, and then that's the main career, and then this is now the creative side of you, the hippie side of you that you kind of bring out and kind of have some fun with and all that kind of stuff, which is like incredible, being an entertainer and bringing that to people, like putting smiles on people's faces and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, what do you kind of get out of doing this for people, the magic side of things?
Yeah, yeah. I was commenting to you that I do this because I really enjoyed. Like at the beginning, I kind of started doing like for kids, magic for kids and for adults. So the magic for adults was a little bit time consuming. You have to practice a lot. Adults are more demanding than kids. Actually, I was the house magician for a bar in Mississauga for over a year. At that point, I was living in Milton, and it was very like exciting times for me because I said, wow, like I am like a magician that I can do magic. It was very, but after like 6 8 months, I say, whoa, but this is like every Friday now. I'm expected to go there. Like sometimes it's not fun because sometimes I want to do some different stuff like the Fridays, right? So it started like to, I don't know, and also there were couples that they were there every Friday, and I have to come with a new trick every Friday. So I
Oh
said, now
wow.
I have to practice during the week so I can get a new like trick for them. So at one point I realized, you know what, like magic for adults is not that. It's less frequent. They pay a little bit more, but it's less frequent. Like I was doing at that point a lot of magic shows for kids. So I said, okay, magic for kids is more frequent. So I think I can do this. It's less stressful. I enjoy it more. I laugh. Kids laugh. So yeah, at that point, it's okay. No more adults. I still do it sometimes. Mostly for friends when people ask me or old clients. But pretty much right now only kids for magic for kids.
Sure. And what's your like go-to trick that you're like, that if you whip out this trick, like they're gonna laugh, they're gonna like be amazed by that one trick. What is it?
Yeah, well, I have like a routine right now for the magic shows. Uh, I I guess that the ones that kids enjoy the most, for kids you use a lot of props that are generally are colorful, and like you disappear things and you appear stuff, and that kind of like pulling like a handkerchief from their ears, that kind of stuff like the kids love, that's mostly that's always that's I always have to do that because they really enjoy that much.
Sure, sure.
Wow. Now, do you have to go to? Do you still do it at, like at a show, or do you do it at the comforts of their own house? And where do you do the shows mainly? It's like what cities mostly?
Yeah, I have been like when I started I was living in Toronto, then I moved to Milton, and then now I'm in Stony Creek, Hamilton. So at the beginning I was doing mostly shows in that area, but but like I used to have like a huge like a lot of clients in the Mississauga, Brampton area. I guess that Indians, Arabs, they love magic. They love face painting because I do like I sell packages that include face painting, balloon twisting, and also the magic, which is smart because they only require one entertainer, for that, and then you don't have to hire two people. So I was doing a lot for them, but then I moved to Milton. I still could cover that area very well. Then I moved to Hamilton, and then was a little bit of a drive. And then I found a friend that is a magician as well, that he lives in Brampton. So right now, like we cover both areas. If I cannot drive because I have something in Hamilton, he goes. So we are. I have covered the two areas with me and my friend right now.
And then take us back, Alan, to like, you said you got your first gig or you were working with a company that was booking gigs and you were interested in doing, magic and you've never done a show before. So kind of take us back to that time doing your first gig and getting kind of hired by
Yeah.
that company.
Yeah, so this girl, she was creating this magic, like kids' birthday party company. She was like a princess before, and then like doing princess to birthday parties, and then now she wanted to go like create her own company. When I had the interview with her, she said, "You know what? But I need you to do also balloon twisting and face painting." And I said, "You know what? I never have done face painting or balloon twisting, but I always have been very crafty. I always have been like I always like to paint, so I guess that I can do it easily." And the good thing, that I liked to start with her is that I didn't know anything how to sell like a package, for kid's birthday, right? So she gave me like the structure, okay, we will do this, we will do magic show first, we will do face painting, we will do balloon twisting, and just she just gave me like the basics. She said, okay, she gave me like the props for the magic, the props, all the paint, for the face painting and the balloons, and said these are the videos in YouTube. You just go watch them, and then you can do it. You can do it. So I saw a couple of videos in YouTube, and I was doing balloons, the same day. Same with the face painting because again I knew how to paint, so it was kind of easy. But she never knew how to properly like start her business. Like she was not getting enough clients. I was doing like maybe three, two birthday per month, but for me it was okay. Again, like for me it was more like for fun. It was like the was not it was definitely not for the money. She was paying like very little, but I was excited because I was doing something new. And after a year, she said, I don't know the reasons, but she said that she was not doing it anymore. But again, like she was not doing it great as a business. And then I said, you know what? I know what to do. Maybe I can do it. I never have tried to do it by myself. I was comfortable, with doing my weekday job, just when I received a call from her doing a magic for her. So I was just comfortable at that point. But I said, okay, let me do it by myself. I just put a couple of ads, and like people start calling me like a lot, and I said, but actually there is a market for this. Like I didn't know that I will receive so many calls. I started in the low end in terms of price, but I was doing like 4 5 shows per weekend. When I with her I was doing like 3 shows per month. So I started doing like a lot of shows. Since then, like always full.
You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
Now, just to walk us through, like, what if somebody wanted to book your service today? What could they expect? Like, how much do you offer per hour, per show? Give us a walkthrough of what you offer.
Yeah. So I offer magic shows for kids. I do also face painting. I do balloon twisting, or a combination of that. So some people they want only the magic and the balloon twisting. Some people want the three of them. So depending the number of kids, and the number of activities that you will want, because face painting is time consuming, right? Some people they say, okay, I want a magic show, face painting and balloons. I have 30 kids, but I only want 1 hour. I say, well, it doesn't work like that because only the face painting probably will take 1 hour or maybe more. So Balloon twisting could be fast if I keep the designs very simple, but if they sometimes they want designs more elaborated, for example, for like the ones that you have in your hand,
Mhm.
then I said, okay, if you want like more variety and quantity, you need more time. If you just want like a sword, simple poppy, yes, I can do a lot of those, in less time. So generally for the 1 hour, uh, like I can have like 20 kids, balloons, and magic for 20 kids, right? But as for the price varies, depending, probably the people will see this in 2015,
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
But, I don't hide the price. I always put my prices, but the prices are in the website. If you go to alanqmagic.ca, the prices are there. Why I put the prices? Because I want people to see the prices, and if they are interested, they will call me. I don't want like a lot of calls, during the weekdays, when I am working, like, hey, what's the price? No, the price is there.
Sure.
But
sure.
just so you have a reference, the magician a kid's magician that is cheaper than an adult's magician generally goes from 200 to 450 per hour. I am in the lower end. Like the second hour, of course, is cheaper, but that gives you a reference. Also, I have another entertainer. She does face painting, balloon twisting. She does caricatures, airbrush tattoo. That is very efficient, more than face painting.
Mm.
The cost per hour for that is less because she's not a magician. So sometimes I am busy or people don't want magic. So I offer that service as well.
Cool.
Very
Wow.
neat. Okay.
Well, that's a great way of answering it. Prices online. Go and check, okay? In case it's 2025.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, just to go through some of what has been some of the biggest struggles of doing magic shows?
Um, well, like I will say at the beginning, I don't know, it's because I was so, I won't call it a struggle, but it was something that I was like fighting myself because I was so shy at the beginning when I started doing this because like I am a magician, like people will recognize me. I don't know. I started like very very shy once. But the funny thing is that I had this interview with a girl that was starting the company, she said, "Oh, but I want a magician, but I also want a person that can dress up as a Spider-Man."
Right.
And I was like, well, that was not part of my plan, but whatever, I'll do it. If I have to cover my face, that's okay. And was that, still, I was struggling a little bit with that, but when I was, Spider-Man was very popular. So when I was doing Spider-Man, I have to do magic as well. But the suit for Spider-Man has like gloves, so I
Mm.
could not grab cards or anything like that. So I have to cut the gloves so I can, grab all the props. And I don't know if you know, but engineers, they use like a ring, a ring in the pinky.
Mm.
They call the pinky ring. And that day I forgot to remove it, and I had it in my pinky. And one of the persons in the birthday saw my hand and said, "Oh, but are you an engineer?" And I was dressed up as a Spider-Man. "Are you an engineer?" I was like, I don't know, like I was like so ashamed. I said, "Oh, yes, yes, but I'm just helping a friend doing this." I don't know why I was so like embarrassed, but that was something, that I was not comfortable about the beginning, like dressing up. Once I started doing by myself, I'm just doing my magic shows. I do not dress up.
Right.
You don't dress up anymore.
Not
That was the
anymore.
end.
Yeah.
Well, I dress up as a magician. Generally, as a kid's magician, I wear like a cape or a hat sometimes. Sometimes if it's an event that is more for adults, I wear, I think it's a beret, it's called. So a little bit more like for adults, but again, it's as a magician.
Okay.
Well, at least you got a costume every Halloween, huh?
Yeah. I have the costumes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And Alan, do you have any tricks that you can kind of show us today on the podcast?
I have a couple of tricks here, so I guess that we can start with a simple one here.
Yeah.
If you're listening on the podcast, okay, you probably want to convert over to YouTube and watch what Alan's about to do for us, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is a simple one, so it requires a little bit of a mind reading. I don't know what will happen here. I haven't tried this in a long time. I haven't done like a lot of magic for adults. These things are for adults. Kids do not understand like close up magic with cards. Sometimes for kids you appear a card and they said, okay, what and what? And then, no. Adults appreciate more those stuff, right? So
For
kids,
sure.
you need like more props, colorful, funny stuff.
Sure.
So look, I have this deck of cards here. I took one card out of the deck. Carl, I took one card out of the deck and I flip it over and I put it inside. So only one card will be here, flip over in the other direction. But I don't want you to think that I am playing with a JJ mind. So now you know that you will be the last question, right? And I will tell you when is the last question. So JJ, I want you to tell me what card do you think is here, flip over? Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, or King?
You want me to say it?
Yes?
Jack.
I think it's a Jack, actually. Cal, the Jack that is here, flip over, is red or black?
It'll be red.
I think it's red. And that Jack, red, you have two options in red, hearts or diamonds. Which is the one that you think is here, flip over?
Hearts.
You know what, Cal? Jack of hearts, I believe is here, flip over in the other direction. But you're the last question. Now, this is the last question. You can go with a Jack of hearts, which I believe is here, flip over. Or you can change your mind and pick any card, whatever you want. What do you want to do?
Oh wow. Okay. I'm gonna do the Ace of Spades.
You know what? Ace of Spades is very predictable. If that was you want, I'll go with that. But it's very predictable.
I don't know why that came to
I don't
my
want
mind.
to push you. Do you want Ace of Spades?
Yeah, give him a hard one. Come on.
I guess I'll stick with it. I don't know if that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do it.
Ace of Spades?
Ace of Spades.
Okay. I told you that I like it. Okay, because Ace. Most people take Ace of Spades because this is so predictable. But you say that you don't want to change your mind. Only one card here will be flip over in the other direction. Okay, I think it's here.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm pulling it. Okay.
Okay, you can see it.
Hey-o!
What's the Ace of Spades?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. No way.
Yeah. You look at it? Oh.
I did.
Some people ask me like if I use like live animals, that's a funny question. But I don't use live animals, some people they liked it, kids really loved it, some people they don't like it. They don't like people using live animals, right? I personally don't use them because sometimes I am like between shows. I have 2 hours to spend, and I go to like to a cafe, drink a coffee. And I don't want to have the animal there in the car. Or if I finish the show, like I am in Brampton, then I have to go home because I have an animal in my car. But sometimes I want to spend the time after with a friend, so I don't use them. But today, I was in my backyard and I saw a wild animal actually, and I brought it. I don't know if you're
Great.
allowed to have like live animals here, but I'll show you now.
No way.
can't.
I still can't
It's
believe
not
the
a
Ace of
raccoon,
Spades right now. I'm like, well.
Come here. Come here. No, come here.
Oh my god.
No, JJ, come here. No, I'll tell you something now. This is fake. I'll tell you how probably you want to know how this works. Okay, I'll tell you, JJ. So look, if I'll just put the one hand here in the bottom here, like it says munchy, 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 right? Like if you go like and you put 3 fingers here, you go boogie, boogie, boogie. But don't use one whoops. You have to use 3 fingers like boogie, boogie, boogie. Again, no one whoop. You want to try it? Doesn't hurt, come.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my goodness.
I have
Awesome.
more stuff. I will show you after.
That's great.
Thank you so
Wow.
much, Alan. That's unreal. I still can't believe you got the Ace of Spades there. I was like, I'm really going to throw you for a loop here.
I was hoping he's gonna say like 3 of clubs, like ooh.
So predictable.
You got some I think we like to think that we're like kids' minds, Cal and I, so it's we're easy to trick. Okay? So you give us your best kids tricks. You got us. That's awesome. So tell us some of your biggest accomplishments with magic.
Well, again, like magic for me right now is kind of since I work during the weekdays, I won't say that I have been pushing the limits, in terms of accomplishments. I just wanted to keep it like steady, like enjoying what I'm doing. It has been growing slowly. As I said, I have another partner that is a magician and another partner that is an entertainer that she's not a magician, but she does great stuff. Again, I think I mentioned she does caricature, face painting, airbrush tattoo. She also have a candy cutting machine that's like when people want that as a rental as well. So it has been growing slowly but steady, but again, like I won't say like that like it's just a small business right now, right?
Hmm.
So I won't call it like an accomplishment
Right.
in any sense.
Do you have big aspirations for the magic? Like, do you want to grow it more than what it is today, or are you content with being like the full time engineer and part time magic, or what do you see for the future?
Yeah, like I have been. Sometimes I think about Sometimes people. Well, I do a little bit of decoration as well. Not much, but sometimes I do like balloons, decoration, garlands, and things like that. Like during COVID, also like the magic was like entertainment business. They were like doing nothing, right? So I was doing like a lot of delivering like balloons for bouquets and things like that as a uh, like delivering to people, because they didn't want they want to celebrate the birthday with someone, at least to give them a little bit of a present. But as your question was, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, just like what goals you have for the magic. Like, do you want it to be more than what it is today?
Yeah. Okay. That's why I mentioned also the decoration itself, because there is a potential to grow more as a business if I include decoration, if I include maybe rentals, and also adding other entertainers. I could do that. It had passed my mind. Uh, right now, I I I, I don't think so. But again, like from time to time, again, like I said, maybe will be something that I could enjoy maybe more than just like a 8 to 9 job or whatever. So uh might in the future I might consider it, but right now like I'm not considering fully.
Okay.
Awesome. And what like just to give people like an idea, like obviously a full time job, and you do this evenings and weekends, all that kind of stuff. Like roughly, what's like your best months, if you don't mind us asking, revenue wise, to do this kind of part time, if that's if you're open to that.
Well, I think that as I will speak roughly about entertainers. I think again, like I think there is definitely a market, even though during COVID, I think that it was rough for most people, and you see how vulnerable this sector is, which is what makes me think twice, in doing this full time, because and at any time, like if something similar hits, you have nothing to do. So at least I had my regular job at that point. But as a entertainer, you only like any like weekend, doing 3 4 gigs, you can have easily more than 1,000 per weekend. So if you work all weekends, you potentially could have 3 4, maybe 5,000
A month.
Sure.
a
Oh,
month.
unreal. Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's something that is definitely a part time kind of gig until people maybe if they had a ton of entertainers, all that kind of stuff, you can kind of book people out and
Yeah.
kind of scale it up and whatnot. So I'm in the event space as well. Like we do bubble soccer rentals and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. And obviously COVID was a massive downtime
Yeah.
and whatnot. And it's funny, like working evenings and weekends all the time. You're like, man, I just want like a 9 to 5 sometimes and whatnot. So no, totally get that, and just having like sustainable, that money's coming in every week and whatnot. So, no, it's incredible what you do, and taking care of all these guys and making sure they're having some fun out there. You're entertaining them. So, what's like the biggest, I guess, for anyone that's like listening or watching, if they want to get into being a magician, any advice that you might have them for them on?
Yeah, like again, like as a magician, like what I guess that one of the skills that you need is that you don't have you have to, of course, show yourself in front of a lot of people. So you have to be good, speaking in public. That's one thing. So not so much as a face painter or balloon twister. You can be a little bit more shy in that sense. But once you're a magician, I have been presenting magic for larger audience. Schools, festivals. But you could keep it simple, only for kids' birthday as well. But I've been, doing different stuff. Um, so if you like that, I guess that the first thing is just start learning magic. There's a one shop in Toronto that is known by many. I think it's the only shop in Ontario for magic tricks. So if you go there, they even give you like some explanation of the magics and that they sell. So will be good for beginners, for kids. They want, like if you go depending the age, they show what's age appropriate for you. But online you can buy a lot of stuff as well. And as for learning, YouTube, there are a lot of tricks that are uh, that you can learn there. And if you want advanced stuff, like most magicians, they sell or DVDs, or right now not just DVDs, but you can buy the course online and you can see their videos for advanced magic as well. So right now it's way easier because you have all these tools that the internet provides. So it will be easy. As for the other parts of the like face painting and balloon artist, um, same thing. Like YouTube, like you can find everything there. You don't know what paint use as a face painter. There are tutorials that teach you like what paint to use that is hypoallergenic, good for the skin. All the brushes that you have to use, like everything is there. Like you just have to Google it.
Sure.
Now, when you're learning magic and stuff like that, is it more or less like, trying to keep the eyes or focus elsewhere, right? Because I've seen some magic, and like when you go to restaurants, there's a magician there, and you get blown away, right? But is it more or less that you're trying to distract the person from viewing somewhere else while your hands are working, or is it really that comes down to like the certain props that you need in order to make that trick come to life?
Yeah, there are different type of magicians and different types of magic. For example, for that ones that people that you see in restaurants generally are more close-up magics. Magicians use cards and they use what is called sleight of hand mostly. For sleight of hands, yeah, those magicians, I used to play a little bit with cards, but it requires a lot of practice. But it's very cool what they can do. They also do a little mind reading they can do in that type of settings, like in a restaurant. But some of them require like distracting you. Some of them it really doesn't. Like they can do it so in slow motion that you can actually see their hands, and the magic anyway will be executed properly. But depending of the magic, of course, there are magic that right now, like TikTokers, they are doing that those type of magics requires a camera to have certain angle. So like if you are in another angle, it won't show properly, right? So that's one type of magic. What another type of magic? It doesn't matter the angle. It doesn't matter the misdirection. So,
Hmm.
so it depends, But those ones in restaurants, I really that's the magic that I enjoy the most because it's so close to you. It's not using like a large prop in a scenario. So I like that one.
Hmm.
And really quick, just that shop that's in Toronto. If anybody like wants to go to that shop and check it out and learn some magic or check it, basically, yeah, just go there and buy some magic tricks and whatnot. What's the name of that shop?
It's Magic Den, I think it's called. It's
Okay.
DEN Den. Magic Den, I
Magic
think.
Den.
I think
Okay.
it's something like that.
Okay.
If you Google that, Magic Den Toronto, it will pop up.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. Cool.
Wow. Now, what would you say you enjoy the most? Obviously, I know with you being an engineer and doing magic this whole time, would you say that you enjoy magic thoroughly more than engineering? Like, what brings you more passion from two different avenues?
Yeah, for for sure. Like when I'm doing magic, especially for kids, It's very relaxing. So that's why I chose that one. Like kids laugh, I laugh. So it really doesn't require a lot of preparation. Like I already know what to do. I just take every weekend I just take my stuff and I go to the birthday. With no stress, and I just execute it. And once it's done, that's it. I leave. So it's really no stress. I had a good time as well as them. So definitely it's more enjoyable.
For sure. Yeah. That's great.
What's the biggest group that you've ever performed for?
Uh, I have been in festivals with a lot of people, so I will say probably more. Of course, festivals could be hundreds, but people that gather for the magic could be around more than 100, And for sometimes for a balloon, I've been balloon twister in festivals. For example, I went once to one festival like 1 month ago, and I spent 7 hours doing balloon twisting. So hundreds of people, they were there. Like I was, like my hands were so tired at the end, but that was not a presentation. That was just doing a lot of balloons for 7 hours.
Jesus, good
That's
for you.
great.
Incredible.
Well, definitely going to be probably ending the podcast in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So if you have any more tricks up your sleeve, we would love to see what you have. And then we got more questions at the end, of course.
Okay, let me see. I brought these cards. They are a little bit bigger, so probably people can see it there in the screen. So I'll take two cards here.
I get so giddy when this happens,
There are two cards here. This is a jack and an ace, right? So I'll just fold this jack in this direction. Pay attention, Carl. So look. And I'll fold this one in the other direction. So I'll just put the ace here inside this one, right? I'll just slide it and turn it in the other direction. And the funny thing happens inside there, JJ, because not even me know what's happened there. Because it is a time machine. When I push, now the card goes back in time as it was folded before. When I push, you know what? People ask me like, do you wanna like a close up? So I'll just do a close up like here.
That's awesome.
But people said, but what happened if you open the time machine? If I open the time machine, nothing happened, just a regular jack, right? Because when I close is when the magic happened, right? So look, Cal, this hand is clean. This hand is clean. I'll just leave this there and I will break this in two. And I want you to confirm that I only have two cards here and they match. So I have the jack and I have the ace
Wow.
and they match.
Great
Wow.
job.
That's
Those are
awesome.
real magic cards right there.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Wow. How? How? I don't understand any of this, man.
I will do maybe I don't know, again, like these are magic stuff for adults. Again, I don't do this very often, but I will try it now. I am a little bit rusty in that sense. This is my business card right here, right? So I will try to read your mind. So right now, JJ, I want you to tell me. I don't want you to. I want you to think of a number 1 to 100. Sometimes, I ask 1 to 10, but 1 to 10 is a little bit easy, right? So I'll say, okay, think about 1 to 100. So think about it and let me see you. Okay, I will write this number here.
I swear to God, if he gets this,
I'm locked in on my answer.
you guys got to come
Locked
on
it?
YouTube and
You
watch
cannot
this.
lie.
This is awesome.
No, I got it.
Okay, can you hold it here? Okay, so what's the number?
31.
And why 31? I thought it was 69. Maybe like this one?
Yes. Yes.
No way.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
That's awesome. I thought it was 69 too. Yeah.
And let me do the last one. This is probably a little bit difficult because generally it requires like a table, but we can do it in in the floor. Probably it won't show in the camera. Is that okay? Can we do this?
Oh yeah, the little plunger.
So up.
Oh,
Actually, that was
sorry.
that was when I was
I
working
got
in
it.
the
I'm sorry.
restaurant. When I was working in the restaurant, I was working with an assistant. Her name is Margarita, and actually, it's a little plunger there. As you can tell,
It's
she's very high tech, right? So she was always helping me in the restaurant, but we haven't been working together for a long time, so I don't know if she's doing it. She will do it okay now. So, but let's see how she does this. So again, I will do now a little bit of a explanation of how Margarita works. This is not the magic. This is how she works. For example, if I'll just put one card
yeah.
So
There you
there we go.
here, I'll say, Margarita, pick up one card. She just pick up the card, right? If I just put two cards, she just goes, Margarita, I don't want you to pick one. I want you to pick two. She just goes, whatever I said, right? But that's not the magic. That's how Margarita works, right? For example, if I just put half of the deck, Margarita, I want you to pick half of the deck. She just go, whatever I said. Again, this is not the magic. So now let's do a little bit of the magic. Let me see if Margarita can remember how to do the magic. So, Callum, I want you to tell me one number 1 to 10.
Okay.
Tell me one number 1 to 10.
5.
5. I want to now, Margarita. I don't want you to pick one. I don't want you to pick the whole deck. I just want to pick whatever Carl said. So she just go like this and like this, and she just go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
You're
Again, 5 cards in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let me do another stuff. So I want you to say stop whenever you want.
Stop.
I want you to memorize this card, right?
Yeah.
Memorize it.
Got it.
Got it.
I'll put it here, and I'll just put the deck there. And I want you to whisper your card to Margarita, not to me, just to Margarita. Whisper the card.
Yeah. Not loud enough.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, you were
Okay.
too loud.
So
Okay.
Margarita-
Was it loud?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Okay.
Margarita, I just want you to pick whatever Carl said. So she just scan here. So she just go like this. Is that your card? But you know what?
It's
Yeah.
Some people think, well, maybe it's because all the cards are the same. But no, look, all the cards are different.
they are different.
So I want you now, JJ, to pick one card here.
Okay.
Pick one card from the center or whatever you want.
I love it.
And I want you to memorize that card.
Yeah.
Memorize it. Put it on top. And now I want you to cut the deck in two. Perfect. And I'll just square. Same thing. I want you to whisper your card to Margarita. You cannot lie, JJ.
I'm
no?
not.
No?
I got it.
Okay. Okay, so Margarita go like
I
this.
was like, I didn't want.
She's not finding it. Okay, I think she found it. Again, I don't know if Margarita will do it because long time that she's not doing this. So let's see. Is that your car?
Yeah. That's awesome. Good stuff. Wow.
You're incredible, man. Great job.
That is
Oh, my
awesome.
goodness.
Thank you. I'm
That's
so glad we brought you on the podcast. You know, which podcast is having this much fun? You know, like come on. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Alan,
welcome.
for being a part of our podcast today and giving us some little insight. And if anybody needs Alan for a future show, be sure to definitely reach out to him. But one thing we love to do to ask every guest before we end, a couple questions. One is, if you could give yourself 20-year-old advice, what would it be?
Well, I'm a really like I don't know if this will be very relevant to magic, but I will say start investing very young. I am like a huge like financial guru. I call it myself. Also, I do a lot of self investing in ETF, like self investing. So I'll say like start learning as young as you can and start investing as young as you can. And yeah, that will be an advice that I will give to my younger self.
Wow. And what goals do you have for the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, right now, like I am just going one day at a time. I'm not planning too much. You know, I always have been like planning a lot for the future, retirement, and everything. But yeah, these last 2 years, you know, I'm just kind of enjoying time with my daughter. I have a daughter; she's 6 years old. Like trying to enjoy the time with her. So that's why I'm trying to get as much free time as I can, so I can enjoy time right now. And then like probably in 1 or 2 years, I will refocus again.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And if anybody wanted to get a hold of you or like your website, how do they get in touch?
Yeah, so if you Google, like I'm in Hamilton, but I cover most of the GTA. If you just Google Alan Q Magic, Alan is with one L. You will find me. So also in Instagram or Facebook at Alan Q Magic, and in the website alanqmagic.ca. Again, I'm doing magic show. I do a lot of balloon twisting, like the ones that you have in your hands. Those like are bracelets. I do candy cups, like this one that are showing here in the table. Face painting, and again, I have other entertainers that has also that do other activities like airbrush tattoo, cotton candy machine, and caricatures. So all services.
All that good stuff. Wow,
Mhm.
Alan, thank you so much for being part of our podcast today and giving the viewers something to watch and to listen to. To anybody who's listening, thank you so much for being part of today's podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. Leave a comment down below of any careers that you'd love to see moving forward, and we will catch you in the next podcast. See you guys.
Thank you.
Wow. Alan,
Great job.
that was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh wow! Sorry.